Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Sid Mickle Publications. The title of today's video is Brutal Advice for Indie Authors. And yes, today's advice is going to be somewhat brutal, very direct, and maybe something you are not exactly happy to hear, but you really do need to hear. So let's dive right in. There are 5 steps that are necessary for you to follow to improve your writing. The first one is things to stop. Stop planning your book. Stop talking about your book. No one, and I mean no one, cares about your book the way you do. No one in your family, none of your friends, no one understands it. No one wants it to be successful like you do. And that's natural. That's normal. Stop talking about your book and start writing, and stay on your writing. Write on a very consistent basis and write until you think you're not writing well and stop. Then come back and start again with a fresh view and a fresh load of creativity and imagination. Stop outlining. Stop telling anyone that you're writing a book. No one needs to know that. No one cares. And that's just the truth. People are being pleasant when they ask you very surface questions about your book. You care about it. They don't. And that's just fine. You care about it enough to make it a success. The best advice from this video is something I got from a very famous author. And the advice is, sit your butt in a chair and get to writing, and keep on writing until you've done everything you can to create your very best writing work. Now, I want to tell you a very quick story about that advice. I read multiple books by Jeff Shaara. Jeff Shaara writes a great deal of Confederate War and military a lot of military books. He's a fantastic writer. He is the son of Michael Shaara, who wrote my favorite book, Killer Angels, that I've mentioned several times. I did a review on one of his books, and there was an email site, an email address on his information. So I just shot him a quick email, told him how much I liked the book, and that I had given him a review. I never expected to hear a word from Jeff Shaara. Within 10 minutes, I had a reply from him, and it was extremely complimentary. It was thanking me for taking the time to not only read the book, but to give such a positive review. And he said, look, I understand you're a writer. You didn't ask for my advice, but I'm going to give you the best advice I've ever heard. And it was from his dad. If you're going to write, sit your butt in a chair and get at it. Get to the writing. And I think that is fantastic advice. By the way, Jeff Shaara is a 15-time New York Times best-selling author. He has won the William Young Boyd Award 4 times, and that's for excellence in military writing. So he has the credibility to make those points. The second of our pieces of brutal advice, things to understand. Understand what writing discipline is about. In my opinion, it's not a schedule. It's not setting a goal for a minimum number of words, but if that works for you, that's fantastic. Keep at it. It just doesn't work for me. It's about the discipline of writing. And when I say discipline of writing, obviously it means time in front of maybe your laptop or however you write, and putting the words down and building that story. You know that we've talked about outlines and mile markers and boundaries for your writing multiple times in our videos. The other thing we've talked about is the discipline it takes to come back and edit and rewrite and edit again. And you know I'm going to say that. I say it in almost every video. You can't just ignore it. You've got to come back and work on it. And as I say often, you've got to massage that manuscript. You've got to be really invested in it. And sometimes that gets very boring. It's a labor of love of that book, and it's time consuming. And it's also at times very frustrating. So if you want to be a writer, accept the discipline it takes. Accept that you must spend that time editing and rewriting and then editing all over again. And when you get to the point that you are 100% sure it's the best writing you can do, that's when you can stop. But not until then. Everything else is just kind of faking your way through it. Don't do that. Work on it. Make it the best you can make it. Understand that discipline and follow it absolutely, and you will be much better off. The third bit of advice I want to offer today is this: no excuses. Stop making excuses. They will just kill your book. Carve out the time you need to have to write well. I get it. Scheduling is tough. There's family obligations. There's work obligations. If you don't sit down and carve out a writing schedule and stay somewhat consistent and stay really invested, really drill down into that book on a very regular basis, it'll be not very good. I won't say terrible, but it will not be your best. Unless you do this, you're going to be someone who just talks about writing instead of being a writer. And you don't want to do that. You want to be a writer. You want to be an author, whether it's published by a mainline publisher or you self-publish. You want to write and publish your book. That one was pretty simple. The fourth piece of advice that I want to offer to you today, and a lot of you really aren't like this, you cannot final edit your own work. And look, I understand all the anxiety. I understand all the arguments. They don't work. You've got to get it through your head that you can't edit your own work. You wrote it. Your mind, your eye is not going to do the job that a fresh set of eyes and a professional editor does. I don't care. I don't care about the arguments. You cannot self-edit your book as well as a professional. Now, if you want to put a book out there that is not professionally edited, that's up to you, but it will harm your book. Your book will not be the best it can be. Save, borrow, do whatever you have to do, but hire a professional editor. And while we're at it, let's talk about the other thing you really need to do. You need to pay for a professional cover. And let's think about this for a second. You're going to invest all this energy, and hopefully it's a real passionate energy in writing a book. You're going to spend hour after hour after hour, and you're going to go up and down in your emotions, sometimes frustrating, sometimes excited, sometimes just burned out maybe. But you're going to get through all those things, and you're going to write a book. Why would you take any chance on that effort? All that work not being the very best it could be. It all relates to that discipline we talked about. It all relates to your commitment to being excellent in your writing. You have to do this. Look, I've made all the excuses. I've heard all the excuses. And there's some that are just like really compelling, but they don't work. You can't self-edit your work. That's just the way it is. The last of the major and somewhat brutal pieces of advice here is this: find a resource you trust and stick with it. Stop looking for magic advice. There is none. There isn't this magic piece of advice that's going to make writing your book easy. Some advice may save you some time. Some advice may help you get over hurdles faster. There is no magic pill. It just doesn't exist. Writing a book is all about hard work and just that toughness to stick with it and work your way through it. You've got to be absolutely committed and disciplined and tenacious, all those things, to write a book, because there's a million things that are going to try to keep you from writing your book. And as I said earlier, if you don't want to do all those things, you will be someone who talks about writing instead of being a writer. That's up to you. No one can do it for you. If you use simple trial and error, you're going to use mostly error. I've done that. I've tried to go through it and have no advice and not ask questions, and it has been incredibly frustrating. My absolute advice to you is find that resource that you trust, that feels right in your gut, and go back to it and keep trying to reaffirm the things you're doing. And when you get advice that is different than what you're doing, consider it and maybe make that change. Trust that advice and go with it. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Sounds like a bit of a commercial, but it's not. Last week, we talked about establishing a new and different writing community. My offer is still open. I would love for us here at Sid Mickle Publications to establish a new writing community. Here's why. I would like to establish a writing community that answers questions and does it without snarky comments, without toxic language, and without just simply being rude. I would like for beginning novelists, new authors, or maybe some established self-published authors to feel comfortable coming here and asking a question. Now, why? Why should I be that person? Well, because I am going to tell you what I believe. And I'm going to tell you what I've learned from publishing these 7 books. I've learned a lot in publishing those 7 books. I'm not guessing at the advice I'm telling you. I absolutely believe in every bit of advice that I dish out here on this channel. And if you'd like to try it, that's fine. Subscribe, come back, watch some videos. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have your comments or your questions. And remember, you can reach us at sidmicklepublications@gmail.com if you don't want to do it on the video. That's just fine. I just believe that as a group, if we can find each other, and that's the struggle with YouTube, that's the trouble with me being a small channel, is finding each other, discovering this point, and testing my advice out and seeing if you like it, seeing if it helps you. There is a lot of advice out there. If you want to go to YouTube and find advice, you can find it just a few clicks. You can find someone to yell at you. You can find someone to criticize you. Or you can find someone to tell you that it's just easy and all you got to do is this, sign up for this newsletter and everything will be great. No, none of that is right. None of that is right. You've got a lot of work ahead. And if you can find someone you trust to answer questions as you go through it, it will help you. It will make you more efficient and it will take away some of the stress of writing your first or your 50th book, in my opinion. You're all welcome to join us here at Sid Mickle Publications. Now, as we have wrapped up those 5 brutal points of advice, I hope they mattered. I hope they help you because they are legitimate and they are all true. As in the past, I've got a little bit of extra for the video today. For the video today. We have 3 comments and questions. So I think there's 2 comments and 1 question in this set today. So we're going to do our Q&A session and just gauge what has been going on, the comments and the feelings from the last few videos. I don't think we've done this for a couple of videos. So the first one is from RJ, and it is a question. Are you saying you will answer my writing questions with no obligation on my part? Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Now, I would love to get into the problem where I have so many questions, it takes me a week to get back to you. that's not the case. We're a growing young channel. Let's worry about that problem when we get to it. The answer is yes. Send your questions. I will try to answer them. I know I'm not going to read your manuscript. That's not something that this advice would be about, but I will certainly try to answer anything you have in your mind about your manuscript that you think I can help you with. The next point here is a comment, and this is from, I think this is DC. DC has one comment, and it's comments sometimes are really interesting. You are a nobody. Why should I listen to you? Well, the answer to that, DC, is maybe you shouldn't, because you've looked at some videos maybe and you don't like my style or my looks or my setup or my advice. And that's just fine. As I said, you have to find someone, you have to find that advice and that person who reaches you, who seems to connect with you. And if I don't, then no, you probably won't benefit from any advice I have to give you. And I hate that. I wish I could help anyone and everyone, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. As I will go back to this, look, my track record is self-publishing 7 novels. That's my basis of experience and my kind of foundation of being able to give advice. Do I know everything? Oh, no. No. But I'll tell you what, if we run into something that I can't answer, I'll try to do some research and get an answer back to you. Hopefully we can work things like that out. But DC, I understand. And everyone is free to have their own opinion. The last is a comment. And this is really kind of special. This is from S27, and it came into the video. What a great video. I just found you and subscribed. I am a binge watcher, so I will try to clock in some viewing hours while I start at your first video. Well, S27, when I got your message, it made my day. I'd love to have about 1,000 messages like that and people going back and building watch hours. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that we were able to exchange that conversation. Hopefully you'll find some things that will help you. To close out today's video, I just want to say this. There are places that you can go if you just want to be pounded, if you just want to be yelled at and called names and given really rude comments. There's a lot of forums out there that do that. I find them either just stupid or hateful or just nasty. I don't know. Many of the scenarios on this particular forum, I find contrived. I don't even think they're real scenarios. I think it's people who are maybe, I don't know, maybe a little desperate just for some conversations, some exchanges via the internet. I don't know. And I'm not being critical of someone who needs that. That's just fine. But the fact that there is so much negativity and just harsh language given back to people bothers me. It bothers me a lot. Now, I am not the most patient person in the world. I can be very frank, and at times I can be very brutal on a lot of subjects. But when it comes to this subject, I remember the frustration of writing that first book. And the frustrations had been through all of them. There's been some level of frustration in each one of them. But those frustrations lessened as I got more and more experience and became more comfortable with my own writing style. And I became very comfortable asking for help. I became extremely comfortable in arguing with my editor. And that's just something you learn. That's just a way you develop your writing habits. And maybe your writing style is the way I should phrase that. No matter. I hope these bits of advice can help you. My offer to join our writing community is absolutely honest and sincere. And to close out this week's video, I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of the week. I think today is Monday. We'll post this video tonight or Tuesday morning. So enjoy yourselves. Try to have a little bit of fun during your week. It will make the week a whole lot better. Everybody take care, and I hope to hear from you. And I hope you'll come back and join us next Tuesday for the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.